Comment, like, subscribe. The bell keeps you notified. It helps the show thrive. When I say Mexican food in the title of this video, I of course really mean Tex-Mex food, as opposed to traditional authentic Mexican food. You guys know the kind of food I'm talking about. The food the vast majority of the world links with the nation of Mexico, despite the fact that this cuisine has just as much to do with the USA, especially Texas, as it does with Mexico. That doesn't mean that this food isn't eaten at all in Mexico, and some of these meals do have deeper links with Mexico than others. I just know that if I refer to this food as just Mexican food and not explain how it's really Tex-Mex, that would anger some people, and they are right to be angered. Authentic Mexican meals like mole and pozole can be very different to Tex-Mex food, and one day I hope to enjoy authentic Mexican food in Mexico itself. However, to the majority of people, when they say Mexican food, they are really talking about Tex-Mex, and that's what we are doing today. There's a good reason why this food is talked about so much, however, and that's because it's pretty darn tasty. Thanks to its huge popularity, Mexican food can be found all across the globe, from high-end restaurants to idyllic food trucks. This means that the lexicon of Mexican food is found all over the planet too. Distinctly Spanish-sounding words like burrito, enchilada, and quesadilla have found themselves at home in many non-Spanish-speaking countries, my home nation of the UK included. We are so used to hearing these words and speaking about all this amazing food that we've kind of grown numb to these seriously exotic sounding words. Well, guess what gringo is talking about this cuisine today? I have been wanting to cover the names of Mexican food for some time now, as these are very unique and interesting words, and after digging into their etymologies for some time now, I've come to a conclusion. That being that many Mexican dishes have really adorable names. Seriously, that might sound strange, but a lot of these names are actually really cute and just kind of make you want to go, aww. Okay, granted they aren't all cute, but enough of them are cute in my eyes to warrant the title of this video. The best example of these cute names has to be with the burrito. To many, I imagine burritos are the quintessential Mexican food. They are of course tortilla breads stuffed to the brim with all kinds of goodness, from rice to various meats and beans to vegetables to cheese and sauces. You really cannot beat a good burrito. As mentioned, it's a darn cute name too. Burrito is actually the diminutive form of the Spanish word bolo. Now, for those that don't know what a diminutive form of a word is, it's when we make a word sound more cute and affectionate, while the actual word itself tends to get longer, like Tim becoming Timmy or Babby becoming Bubby. They're strange, but we use them all the time. As for the Spanish word of bolo, it actually means donkey. In this diminutive form, it means little donkey. Now, donkeys unto themselves are pretty darn adorable, but little donkeys? Oh man, they are next level cuteness. And little donkey is exactly what the name burrito means. Like I said, it's seriously adorable. Why is this food named after little donkeys though? Well, we don't seem to be too sure. There are theories on the matter, and even one particular legend. The theory is that while burritos don't look like little donkeys unto themselves, what they do look like are bundled up bedrolls donkeys are so often seen carrying. It's hard to argue that there isn't a similarity between these things. The legend of this name, however, supposedly goes back to the Mexican Revolution from 1910 to 1920. Supposedly, during this revolution, a food vendor called Juan Mendez would travel around supplying food on the back of his donkey. To keep the food warm, however, he would wrap it up in a tortilla. This meant people all across the nation would look forward to seeing him and his little donkey, aka his burrito, as it meant they were getting a nice hot meal. Eventually, the little donkey who carried this food became the namesake of this meal. It's a really fun story, that's for sure, but it seems to be just that, a story. There's no written evidence of Juan Mendez or his donkey anywhere. It doesn't take away from the fact, however, that burritos have a really adorable name. As I mentioned, one of the main ingredients in a burrito is a tortilla. Tortillas are perhaps the key staple of Mexican food. As well as being used in burritos, they're used in many other meals we'll be covering in this video. They're pretty much the lifeblood of Mexican food, and they're distinctly Mesoamerican too. They're thought to date back as far as 10,000 BC, when corn was first being domesticated. Tortillas went on to become a staple of the Mayan and Aztec diet. In various Aztec/Nahuatl languages, their they're called taskali. This name means baked or something baked, as that is exactly what is done to make this food. They wouldn't gain the name tortilla until the Spanish arrived in the land. This is a pretty obviously Spanish word, especially as it starts with that Spanish word of tort. Tort is the Spanish word for cake / tart. They were named after cakes as they were baked like cakes. But what does the ear part of tortilla mean then? Well, here's the cute part. This is another diminutive. Tortilla is seen as being just a diminutive form of tort, so it means little cake. Once again, little cakes are pretty darn cute. Tortilla breads can often be torn up and fried and made into tortilla chips. And fun fact, even though here in the UK we call chips crisps and fries chips, this is something I need to cover in a video one of these days, we still call tortilla chips tortilla chips. We don't call them tortilla crisps. Confusing, I know, but we're a confusing nation. Tortilla chips are, however, the main ingredient in another Mexican dish, that being nachos. Nachos are tortilla chips loaded with sauces, cheese, beans, vegetables, and various meats. They're great for sharing, though I and many others have had a platter of them to themselves, that's for sure. As for that name, well, it has the potential to be cute. Nacho is actually kind of a first name, being the nickname form of the name Ignacio. They're called this because the man who invented nachos was in fact called Nacho. Well, he was actually known as Ignacio Anaya, but was known by his nickname of Nacho. He was a restaurateur, and one day in 1943, he was down a chef with a lot of hungry customers. Thinking on his toes, he whipped up some tortilla chips, loaded them with veg and cheese, and served them. They went down a treat and spread across the world, bearing his nickname of Nacho. Nicknames are often the more affectionate forms of names, so I guess that's kind of adorable. However, another theory behind the name Nacho for this meal is that Nacho means flat nose in Spanish. This is because tortilla chips are often flat and triangular in shape. Noses are often seen as being triangular in shape, and as they are flat, it makes sense as to why they will be named after flat noses. And I guess flat little noses could be seen as being pretty cute too. Another tortilla-based Mexican dish are of course quesadillas. These are when two tortillas are put together or one is folded over the other and stuffed with all kinds of goodness. Most noticeably, however, they're filled with cheese. I say most noticeably because cheese is key to the name of these things. The Spanish word for cheese is queso. This is seen at the start of the name quesadilla. This is thought to relate to just cheese, or more specifically, the cuisine de pasilla, a type of Spanish cheesecake. It could relate to this cheesecake as quesadillas are cake-like in shape. As mentioned, tortillas relate to cakes too. The ear part at the end of the name quesadilla, however, is the same as the ear found at the end of tortilla, meaning this is another diminutive. This means that quesadilla doesn't just mean cheese or cheesecake, but it means little cheese or little cheesecake. One idea is that it just means little cheesy thing. Once again, this is pretty darn adorable. Who doesn't swoon at the idea of a cute little bit of cheese? Also, slight tangent, but there's apparently a restaurant in Mexico that serves dinosaur-shaped quesadillas, which unto themselves are extremely cute. As someone who adores dinosaurs, I need to eat these. If someone could figure out how to send these over to the UK for me, that would be amazing. Thank you. Anyway, tacos are another really popular Mexican food. They're pretty similar to burritos, but instead of being rolled up, the tortilla is just folded over. Tacos can tend to be more tortilla chip than tortilla, however, being firmer and crunchy than a burrito too. This is what a Taco Bell taco is like anyway. We don't seem to be exactly sure as to where the name taco comes from, however. One source says it simply means light lunch, which makes sense I suppose, though it also supposedly means plug/wadding. This plug etymology seems to date back to the mines of Mexico, in which a taco was some paper wrapping used to plug some gunpowder when it was igniting. It's understandable how this paper wadding that was wrapped around gunpowder got its name applied to food in which a tortilla is used as wadding and wrapped around the filling. Though I must admit, there isn't too much that's cute or adorable about explosions. Pretty awesome though. Fajitas are an interesting case. They're normally seen as being similar to burritos, but that name of fajita actually refers specifically to the filling, it seems. According to Wikipedia, fajita refers to any meat or peppers or onions that are grilled and then served in strips. They are then served in a tortilla, so kind of like burritos but their own thing. The strip part is detrimental in making something a fajita though, as it directly relates to the name. The name comes from the Spanish faja, meaning strip / belt, and the latter part of this name is, you guessed it, another diminutive. So fajita actually means little strip / little belt, and as we've established in this video, anything that is little is adorable. Look at this little belt made for babies and tell me it's not adorable. I dare you. Whether these names are adorable or not, you cannot argue that they haven't at least had some pretty interesting origins. That comes to a halt, however, with enchiladas. Now don't get me wrong, enchiladas are really tasty. Who wouldn't say no to a stuffed tortilla, which is then scattered with cheese and all grilled to be all gooey and melty and delicious? The name, however, is pretty to the point. It simply means in Spanish, seasoned with chili. This is because this food is seasoned very well with various chilies and spices. It definitely doesn't have the same impact as other names, that's for sure, and I find it hard to argue that it's cute in any way. Chimichangas are simply deep fried burritos loved by many, including one assassin in particular. Their name origin is debated, however one story gives it a kind of cute meaning. Chimichanga is supposedly the Spanish word for thingamajig, a term used for anything and everything. This unto itself is kind of cute, but how this food got this name isn't as adorable. The legend goes back that one night one Monica Flynn, a woman living in Arizona with Mexican ancestry, was making a late night snack for her nieces. She was making burritos, but apparently one of these nieces came to speak to her and bumped into Flynn. This made Flynn drop the burrito into a vat of hot oil. No idea what a huge vat of hot oil was just doing there, however. And in a panic, Flynn went to shout out a Spanish swear word that starts with the same few letters as chimichanga, though she didn't want to swear in front of her young niece, so changed mid-word to chimichanga. Once the burrito was fished out the oil, it was fried and tasty. Thus, the chimichanga was born. Swearing definitely isn't adorable, but I suppose there's something cute about this story. Someone making food for a little kid and not wanting to swear in front of them is pretty cute. That is, of course, if this story is to be believed. Let's wrap things up with a food that's name definitely isn't cute, that being guacamole. This is an avocado-based sauce that is used throughout Mexican cuisine. The name guacamole simply means avocado sauce. However, avocado itself has a name with a bit of an unusual meaning. It's believed that avocado comes from a Nahuatl word meaning testicle, due to the similar shape. This has led some to come to the fact that guacamole means testicle sauce. While guacamole doesn't literally translate into meaning that, it's understandable how we came to this conclusion. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that a testicle sauce really isn't that adorable, unlike many other names of Mexican food. Name Explained depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, and the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explained videos. $2 a month gets you all that, plus your name here with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/nameexplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.